In this video, I want to share with you what I did to increase my income by over 182% after graduating college. My first job out of college in 2019, I was making $39,000 per year, and now in 2026, I make over $100,000 per year, and I am able to consistently invest, save, and spend, all while maintaining peace of mind. Welcome to AFK Wealth, where we talk personal finance over gameplay. Nothing in this video is or should be considered financial advice. I just want to share my experience on how I grew my income. Let's start at the beginning. My first job out of college was a direct result of my internship. To get my bachelor's degree, I needed to do a 6-month internship in my field of study. I worked as an intern in a distribution center for a regional family-owned company. I helped with things such as improving routing schedules, automating some data entry processes, and picking and packing customer orders. I loaded semi-trailers, I drove high-lows, pretty much anything that goes on inside a distribution center I was exposed to. I did not have a job offer out of college, so I stayed in this internship for some extra time, and one day the chief operating officer came to me and told me that they had created a new position for me in their supply chain department. So I took that job offer, and my starting salary was $39,000. I was in this position from late 2019 to January of 2022. There are a few factors that made me start looking for a new job, and the first one is I felt as if I was hitting a slump. I'm very grateful that this company gave me my first opportunity out of school, but as the years rolled on, I could tell that there was no real growth path for me at this company. I wanted to make more money. I wanted exposure to different industry software, and the final push for me to start my job hunt was when this company announced that the family would be selling the business to a private equity company. Great for the family and potentially good for the company, but I didn't want to stick around to find out. So I left that company making $45,000 per year. I'll make a separate video regarding the job hunt process. For my second job out of college, I got an offer for $62,000 plus a 10% performance-based bonus from a much larger company in a different industry. This 10% bonus would bring the total compensation to $68,200 for the salary. This $68,200 is a 75% increase from the $39,000 starting salary I started my first job at. It's a 51% increase from the $45,000 that I ended my first job at. Something that was really interesting that happened when I told my first job I was leaving is they tried to offer the match to keep me. I wasn't interested in staying as I had already mentally moved on and started preparing for my new position, but it is something that you should be aware of that can happen to you as well. In my opinion, it's not the greatest idea to stay if your current employer offers to match an offer because that employer now knows that you already have one foot out of the door. And piggybacking off of that, if you do decide to stay, they could start looking for a replacement immediately, and if that did happen, you could potentially get replaced by someone willing to work for less money, and now you don't have that job offer anymore. So I moved on to my second company. The thing about switching jobs is that you really never know if the grass will be greener or not. Yes, you can research, look up company ratings and reviews, but those are not going to directly translate to your department, your manager, and your job position. Within the first few weeks at my new job, I knew that it wasn't for me. I wasn't passionate about the industry. This was the middle of COVID, and I was sourcing product globally, which was an absolute mess. Lead times, price hikes, I wasn't getting the software exposure that I wanted. So in those aspects, it kind of felt like a step backwards. Instead of using the software that I thought we would be using, I was doing all of my work manually in Excel. Another red flag that I saw early on at this job was that my manager actually joked about having a stroke before retirement because of the constant stress and pressure that she was under. So, needless to say, as soon as I started my second job, I was ready for a new one. This made me a bit anxious as I was afraid of what a potential interviewer would think of me leaving this job so soon, but fortunately, that was only a bigger problem in my own head. When I got an interview at another large company and when they asked me about why I wanted to leave my current position, I just explained that I didn't think I was in the right industry and I was looking to get some specific software exposure, which I knew this company was using. 6 months after I started my second job out of college, I got my third job offer. This was in June of 2022 and this offer was for $80,000. That's a 17% increase from the $68,200 salary that I was currently working with. Now, I've been at this third company for over 4 years and I'm making just around $110,000. So this is a 182% increase from my very first salary of $39,000. I'm getting the exposure and the experience I've been looking for, and I have a true career path now. Looking back, I am so grateful that I made those changes and took the initiative to forge my own path because nobody's going to care about your salary or your career more than you. You have to advocate for yourself and know when it's time to move on. Building wealth can really be as simple or as complex as you make it, and wealth building truly starts with margin, and margin is only created if you can consistently live on less than you make. To increase your margin, you can decrease expenses or increase your income, and decreasing your expenses has a floor. Everyone has bills. You can lower those bills, but unless you're homeless, you're still going to have bills to pay. Your income, on the other hand, has no ceiling. There's no limit on how much money you can earn. So, increasing your income is always, in my opinion, the better way to try to increase your margin. Obviously, you don't want to be wasting money on bills or overpaying for insurance, but just understanding that reducing your costs can only go to a certain extent while increasing your income can go to infinity is something very important to understand. So, as I made more money, I did not let my expenses grow at that same rate. This one simple strategy is really the true key and what has helped me build more margin and stress less about my finance journey. I know that I have a good savings rate, so it does make it easier to spend a bit more money, help out others, and spend on experiences when I want to. I hope you guys have found this video entertaining. I hope you've learned something. If you want more content like this, feel free to subscribe. Thank you so much, and I really hope you guys have a great day.